Yeah.
All right. Hey, folks. We are at 6 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Welcome any and all visitors, which there are none. And welcome any public comments, which I doubt we'll hear, that are unrelated, anything unrelated to the agenda items. And Scott, possible changes to the agenda?
I don't have anything for you tonight.
No changes. Okay.
Did you have a comment? Is that why you're making that face?
These are public out here.
Settle down.
All right. Yeah. Have we run out of? Okay.
Very nice.
All right. Hey, folks, I'm going to.
Nice license.
I'm going to look for a motion to approve the minutes of April 15th,
So moved.
2025.
John cannot vote.
John can't vote. Okay. Charlie can. All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second to approve the minutes of April 15th, 2025. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Motion carries. All right, Scott?
Under action items, the select board to possibly appoint a liaison to the Ethics Commission. Remember, this is a new position. John Gannon was your last liaison. And this is just to gather information that goes back and forth. If in fact there's anything to share from the Ethics Commission, we would submit the name and the email and any contact information they're looking for.
Any volunteers?
I would be happy to do that.
Okay, here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Sounds like general consent, John?
Yeah.
We don't have to vote on that, do we?
No, you're fine.
John is hereby appointed. All right. All right. Scott, Highway Department?
Highway Department is here. Marshall Dix, number one is the select board to possibly accept the paving bid from Springfield Paving. And Marshall will walk you through that.
Would you like me to walk you through?
Best rate, right? Or were they the only bid?
No, this is the bids.
Okay,
You got Allstate and you have Basin Brothers. By the total price, by the price per ton, they are the least expensive. We have used them before.
who's that?
Springfield Paving.
Springfield, okay, all right.
We have used them before.
Happy with them?
Happy with them. They bailed us, I won't say bailed us out, but when other companies wouldn't come back and do projects, and these guys come back for us, we had no problems. They're willing to work with us.
Okay, all right.
Sounds good.
All right, so what's the final bid on that?
469, 690, 56.
One.
Hold on a sec.
Go back. Keep going this way. Go back. It's on the back of one of the pages. Keep going.
This one?
No, come back.
one more.
All the way to the
That's
front.
Basin.
All the way
It's
to-
right
It's under your left hand. There you go.
Yeah, because you're not approving the actual total, the 469. That's not really what you're approving, right?
Okay,
You're really approving their,
Proposal.
Their proposal. So I will, if we're real quickly, I had them price out more than our budget is. I've already talked to them to let them know. I kind of let them know that when they did their drive around to look at the paving. The years before, I didn't give them enough. I didn't give them enough paving to do, and when they didn't come up to our paving budget, when we asked them to do a little more, not them, but they have said, well, it wasn't part of the bid process, so therefore we paid a higher rate than the other. So being on the safer side, I gave them a little more, and before we told them that I was bringing it to you to accept, I asked them, let them know that this was more than we had money for. They're fine with it. As long as they're getting the paving, they're fine. They understand that this is a little bit more than what we have in our budget, so they're not getting it. So we are gonna be doing a little less paving than
Than
what's
what
on
you
this
say.
page.
okay, all right.
That gives us a little wiggle room just in case.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
basically, because it's only an estimate, we don't know what the paving cost is gonna be at the time, so it's just the best estimate I can use, and it came in a little cheaper this year, so.
I'll
but
take it.
I gave a little more than what we can afford.
All right, so would somebody like to make a motion to accept the paving bid from Springfield Paving?
I move to accept the paving bid for Springfield paving for this year.
Second.
For 2025, yeah, I was gonna say there was no ending to that. All right, we have motion and second to accept the paving bid from Springfield Paving for 2025. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. We're good.
The select board to possibly approve the quote from Viking Chives
Chives, curbs, however you'd like to say it, everybody pronounces it
in
something.
the amount of $66,950 for truck equipment, and Marshall will explain that.
Is this our rehab truck?
No,
No, okay.
this is a brand new truck, but because of time to get equipment, we need to get it for next winter. We have to order, we're basically placing a spot in line and saying we're gonna buy their equipment. This is the equipment and the price, they'll guarantee the price.
This
Okay.
is not the,
This is not the truck.
Okay.
It's just the
We're
dump
just
body.
locking in the
It's,
price.
it's all the
Equipment.
equipment that goes on the truck. The truck is only approximately 12 weeks out today. So if I ordered a truck today, we'd have it in 12 weeks, which we don't want to sit on it for a year to park it at the garage. So you'll see me back in the spring sometime of next year. And we will have it bid out for whoever will give us the best price for the chassis. So there is another part to this. This is only part. It runs in line with what we have in the capital budget
Yeah.
that we're budgeting for.
They're so far behind on the equipment aspect of it.
In equipment aspect, building the build of the truck, not the truck itself, but the building of the truck, because there's down to no other companies.
Right, it's a monopoly now. There used to be a couple of different companies, so we'd be able to come with 2 quotes, give you a whole truck. You'd vote on it and it would just be done all in one, but now it's a monopoly for parts of it, so we have to pre-order
Oh,
a
geez.
year plus in advance to get in line for part of it.
This is all commercial grade.
And obviously,
So in a
we're not
year,
going
you're gonna forget
overseas
that
for
we've been
any
here
equipment.
already.
are we?
Right, and this is Canada made, but they do guarantee the price, and they did
Right.
hold the price. The last one took a little over 11 months for them to do. This one's, again, we're trying to order this so that we'll have it before plow season of next year. And they're saying, again, they'll guarantee the price. They'll hold their price on their equipment side and the labor side of them.
If they'll hold the price, that's pretty remarkable in itself right there.
And this is every truck we have currently, except the pickup, has been built by this company now. The big trucks, the 1 tons are all built by Viking Curves. The state is, again, it's the only company around, so the state is using them, and they have a state bid contract, which they guarantee we're getting as good, if not better of a price from.
All right. All right. So on that note, folks, would you like to make a motion?
Move to approve the quote from Viking, whatever, in the amount of $66,950 for truck equipment.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the quote from the Viking, and I'll call it Chives.
Chives.
Okay, in the amount of $66,950 for truck equipment. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Next is the transfer station, a discussion on changing the transfer station hours. And Marshall will lead us in that discussion.
Guys love me yet?
I've heard about the change, and I know we're losing Ken, and I know that some things are happening here, but he never thought Friday was much of a day anyway, so.
And from what I understand, talking to Brandon, it's not been much of a day. So I'm assuming you all been briefed on which
No,
day?
no, you're going to
okay,
tell them.
Okay, so,
Don't
We
let
are-
him take you astray.
okay, sorry.
Not me.
We are suggesting that we would be changing the transfer station hours. So do I have to back all the way up to the, all right, so let me rephrase this. So Kenny, who's at the transfer station right now, has given us a long notice that he is leaving the end of May. He's not gonna be working anymore. With the changes with the water department, Brandon will be full-time water department. So Scott and I and everybody have decided that the best thing is to have the transfer station become a full-time job. Being transfer station and part building and grounds. So it's not just transfer station. Hard part about when Brandon had the transfer station job, he never had 2 days in a row off. He had Thursdays off and Saturdays off. So one way to make the job a little bit more appealing to people is to change our transfer station days to Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So the person that is working the building and grounds and transfer station will have Fridays and Saturdays off. So they get 2 days in a row together. The other thing that helps is with our emptying of the containers. If a container gets filled or close to full on Friday, we can't have it emptied all weekend because Casella does not empty containers on Saturday. So if it's getting close to full, we have to have it emptied Friday or call it in Thursday because they like more than 24 hours notice. So we're emptying containers faster than we should be because so that way we can have room for 2 days. This way, if the container's getting full on Thursday, he should be able to call. They should have Friday to empty it. Sometime, anytime Friday, they let themselves in. And that way, we're not sending partially full containers. So we're trying to help with cost. Plus, it gives the guy 2 days off. Is there any more you want to know or any questions?
All right, so if we approve this, which, you know, I don't have a problem with it. However, how soon will it go into effect? Only because I'm going to the dump on Friday, that's all. No, I'm kidding. Tell me.
So if you approve it tonight, we will be putting signs up, and I believe we'd like to start it June 1st.
June 1st, okay.
Are you changing hours?
The hours will still be the same at this time.
So,
Friday was always full-time. Yeah.
yeah, so when you're saying Brendan didn't have 2 days off, it was off Wednesday and Thursday because the dump was Tuesday, Friday. So he did have 2 days in a row off.
No, so Brandon was building in grounds too. So he mowed the lawns the other day. So he worked Monday, half a day, Tuesday, and Wednesday for building and grounds.
So if we change it to give whoever it is 2 days off, that's assuming they're also working building and grounds. If they're not, then those 2 days in a row don't really matter.
So that's correct. The job that we're advertising is building and grounds and transfer station. Sorry, I guess I didn't make that clear.
Okay. I mean, my only concern is between Tuesday and Thursday, how much garbage is the town gathering that, you know, we're going to have any sort of volume on Thursday? I mean, it seems more, you have 2 more days. I mean, the only thought I would have is that if we would say, hey, if you're dumping, you know, the construction stuff, it has to be on Tuesday. Like you can't do it on Thursday or Friday, whatever day we decide. And that'll force everybody to make their dumps on a certain day, and then the bins will be full.
So it's not the construction stuff, it's the household garbage stuff. Construction stuff, we have a spare dumpster for in the summer.
So we think we're filling up the household garbage on Friday?
So it's not just Friday, you got Tuesday too, and you gotta give them 24 hours. You can't call and have it emptied the same day.
No, I understand that. I think most of the people don't. I mean, people who live in town, you know, Tuesday's a couple of hours in the afternoon. Friday, I think, is when you get some of the second homeowners maybe dumping some stuff, and Sunday is when they're dumping most of it because they're on their way out.
Right.
I mean, I think the window between Tuesday and Thursday is pretty damn short to, you know, gather, unless we're not going to have the the bins dumped on after Tuesday, we're gonna wait till it collects Tuesday and Thursday and dump them on Friday.
That's good. We only dump them when we call them. They don't get dumped every day. So what I'm
Okay.
saying is right now, if on Tuesday, if the dump was busy, the transfer station, all is correct, is busy on Tuesday,
All right,
and you're coming towards a holiday weekend, you don't know how busy you're gonna be on Friday, so we may have to call them and ask them, because we're at their mercy, to come as late as they possibly can on Friday. Now, if it turns out to be, because if you're only as good as what people decide to do, they come and empty a dumpster that wasn't nowhere near full, they might show up at 6 in the morning, that might be as late as they thought they could come
okay,
on Friday, and they just took a dumpster that was only half full.
okay. I mean, is there any drawback to moving it from Friday to Thursday? Other, you know,
We don't, that's what we're gonna try. We don't really think so because Fridays have tended to be lighter. And you know, whoever we hire has to understand that they have to be flexible. We're gonna try, we'd like to try this, see how it turns out. But if we fill up between Tuesday and Thursday, then we can empty. Otherwise, we're paying additional charges to come in and pick up the dumpster early. So
I
we'd
mean,
like-
I think we're just gonna get a lot more on Sunday, but if that's okay, then that's fine.
That's perfectly fine, they can be busier on Sunday.
And then they come in Monday, then they'll come in
They'll come
Monday.
on
and
Monday or
change
Tuesday
it up.
morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Parker?
What's the new schedule you're considering?
Changing so that it'd be instead of Fridays, be Thursdays. So Friday will change to Thursday.
Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday,
Yeah.
all the same. hours.
Same.
Same hours, yeah.
And the reason for that is because, the pickup,
One reason for pickup, two is for a new hire.
I don't know who's speaking.
Sorry.
It's Barker. It will have to have, Barker, if you're gonna talk, you gotta come up.
You can
Sorry.
visit me.
Barker Willard, I was just wondering what the new schedule was going to be.
Sorry, I'm sorry, I could have done that. What's your pleasure, gentlemen?
All right, would somebody like to make a motion? Anybody here, have any specific thoughts on it?
No, that's fine. Move
That's
to approve
my
the changing
social
of the
life is
hours.
going to the dump. I mean, that's a great thing.
Transfer station.
Transfer station. No dump. It's a
No,
transfer.
no, I'm not the dump.
Move to change the transfer station hours to the recommended Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday.
Second.
That's a hell of a motion.
But same hours, different days.
Hey, that's exactly what it is.
Yes,
All right, let me look at this here. All right. We move to change the transfer station hours to Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And
Aye.
that would be June 1st, correct?
June 1st.
June 1st, so we have to notify the folks.
Who
Okay.
seconded? Sorry,
Aki.
thank you.
Why do you say no? Since you use it a lot.
Barker Willard again, I would say no for the reason that on household, the construction, the recycling tends to be a pretty big clean out day for a lot of contractors. Fridays, because they're usually trying to get their site prepped up for it,
Yeah.
you know, for whatever it may be. So in one instance, that'd probably be my biggest reason to say no. Sundays are going to be busy regardless. It's just what it is. Tuesday is one of those days by the time you realize that that it's irrelevant really, because by the time you realize it, you're either so far into your day that you're almost getting Kenny upset because you're rolling in through it 25 after 3. And he don't like that.
He's not gonna be there though.
He ain't gonna be.
He won't be there when this happens.
Well, I'm sure whoever was, I don't think Brandon appreciated it a whole bunch more either for that matter, but that would be my main reason of saying I would not change the dates, because you got so many people that are also, you're now down to a 2.5 week window of where you want to change these times, that I think you're going to really throw off a lot of people, and then you're going to start seeing a lot more stuff getting just left either at the gate or wherever. That
Just briefly, just before you arrived, he was reporting that one of the reasons that we're gonna do this is so that the attendant can get 2 days off in a row. That was part of the primary purpose of this, was to have that more attractive to a new individual, as the previous individuals has always had 2 days off, but separated and couldn't get 2 days off in a row. So there's some benefit to whoever the employee becomes as well. And you didn't get that part, so I just want to share that with you.
I think I came in on the tail end of that, but
Okay.
that Wednesday, Thursday is not being a 2 day a week off, because they're still gonna be working for the town on another.
But they do to get 2 days a week off in a row
Which would be Friday,
between the two
Saturday.
jobs. They get Friday and Saturday.
Right.
Yeah, that, I mean, that's I don't know how you go about, right? I'm looking at it as one person, because I did catch that, versus you got 15,000 people on a Sunday, which is an exaggerated number by
So
all
one
means.
other piece I'll add in, we did traffic counts up there, because that's the only way we can. It's the only one way to track all the traffic that goes in there is traffic counts, because we don't have no way of tracking recycling. So we'll start with Tuesday, is actually a fairly decent day when it comes to collecting revenue. It's not very high, but that's when we have asked, back when we were having some issues, businesses to bring all their recycling is Tuesdays. So we have the businesses in town, restaurants, I won't say, I hate to say it this way, but trained to come on Tuesdays. So the only way we can track that is by vehicles. Friday is a very low amount of people. I do understand that contractors might have a struggle a little more with it because of what you said, and I do understand that. But the general people aren't coming in on Fridays anymore, because most of our people around here are second home. Sundays are busy. There's no doubt about it. Sunday is our biggest day of revenue, recycling, the whole 9 yards.
It's your call, man. That was my thought
I'm
behind it.
not afraid to
Also.
try to explain, and that's somewhat what played a part of. We know we can't please everybody, that's for sure, but all we can do is if we start hearing too many complaints, we have to try to work with the schedule and do something different.
Then maybe implement it a little bit later than June 1st. But I know that also becomes your, well, no, that's not the end of the fiscal year. Maybe start it on your fiscal year with a lot more notice instead of 2.5 weeks for, that would be maybe.
The month of June will be our
Okay.
trial basis. See, Bart, that's how we'll do it. Start training them through June. And then
And
first
then
of
we
July,
run
we're
into
gonna be good to
employment
go.
problems of whoever's.
You're gonna run into employment problems anyways.
All right.
I'm not gonna argue that.
All right, so gentlemen, here at the board, we've had a
You got a hand up in the
motion.
back row?
I'm sorry?
Did you have your hand up? Okay.
We have a motion and a second to change the station, the transfer station hours by eliminating Friday and adding Thursday. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank
You're
you.
gonna have to change the sign up there too, you realize that?
I do, 2
Okay.
signs.
Oh,
Is that in the budget?
Not at this time of year, no. It will have to
Save
be
the old
changed.
signing case.
Have we advertised for the job yet?
Yes.
No? Have
Yes.
we? Okay.
The job has been advertised, and it will go out. I mean, they'll be interviewing next Wednesday. So,
Oh, good.
um,
So we have people?
Yes.
Yes.
yes,
More than one.
yes.
Wow.
So
That's a plus.
we'll see how the
That's
interviews
different.
go, and we'll go from there. I mean, depending on how much time people have to give their current employer and things like that, we're hoping to be ready to go by perhaps June 1st. But we will have to give public notice in the paper, Deerfield Valley News,
And on the,
news and
your newsletter?
newsletter, and on the website.
You will see signs up at the transfer station on the gate. I won't change the hours on the gate, but I'll put a sign.
Well, you know,
Change it.
Uh,
A bigger sign.
we've made other changes too here in town. It's just a matter of people getting used to it. It's kind of like changing our meetings from a Wednesday to a Tuesday. Remember
I
those days?
appreciate
Remember
it.
those days?
I
We did away,
appreciate it.
remember when you had recycling over here?
Oh, yeah. Well, and you know, I told you, I ran into a guy living in one of them. So, you know,
And
took
people
all-
are creatures of habit, so the Friday
help out
people
the
will get
homeless.
notified and they'll,
So Meg is here from Sevitz. Would you like,
yeah,
would you like
let's,
to move on?
so the motion carries. We thank you very much.
Thank you, Marshall. So the select board to possibly approve the annual funding request from Sevitz in the amount of $6,765 from the 1% local option tax fund. This is an annual request.
So what's changed at Sevens?
Not much has changed, although Gretchen is on the board now, so, and I get to sit on the meetings now. That's really all that's changed, but we do come with this annual request because we have some new select board members, hello, who have not heard my song and dance every year. I was gonna maybe, if you want to take a minute to go back in the history of town funding, because Wilmington is really sort of one of the original partners in this municipal funding effort, which has now taken us to every select board meeting in the Wyndham region and has led to Sevitz being funded by, well, if you approve this funding tonight, it will be 21 out of the many towns that have approved us this for next fiscal year. So basically, Sevitz is a nonprofit organization. I'm going to go back to the beginning very quickly. Started in 2007 because even though, BDCC was working as the Regional Development Corporation, doing kind of more traditional economic development, business support, it was just evident that our region was really kind of in a decline. We were losing population. The economy wasn't growing. And Sevitz started as a group to kind of look into that, dig deeper, look at the big picture. What are the drivers of this economy? What was creating that kind of slow slide? And so one of the things that was identified early on was the need for more workforce development programs for our workforce. And so in order to make that happen, Sevitz needed some funding. We went to the town of Brattleboro and said, will you fund us at $3 per person based on the population of Brattleboro to help us start this very first workforce program in 2012? The town of Brattleboro said yes, but we would appreciate it. Can you match that from other towns? We want to see some other towns also stepping up, so it's not just us. So the town of Wilmington, the town of Dover, and the town of Bellows Falls joined Brattleboro as our initial funders for that municipal funding effort back in 2012 to fund our very first workforce development program that Sevitz was funding. So now that effort has grown, and so we as BDCCs at capacity and staffing grew, we expanded that effort, and we now make that request in every town in our region. We go to select board meetings, we go to town meetings, and make that funding request so that we're being funded across the region. And our work is truly regional. So what do? we are kind of the way in which BDCC can staff these programs that are outside of that sort of traditional economic development. So for example, our workforce program has grown. There was our Pipelines and Pathways program where we help do career education and career pathway training in local high schools. It is funded in part by SEVIDS. As those programs mature, we often go on and find different sources of funding for those programs. So now P3 is funded in a different way. But SEVIDS continues to grow, continues to look at kind of what are those drivers, what are the wicked problems that we need help solving, and then creating programs which are executed by BDCC. So municipal funding has always been for us a flexible source of funding. Grant funding is very narrow in what you can do with it. And you kind of get locked into funding periods. So the municipal fundings allows us to bring matching funds to the table for grants. It also allows us to start programs that didn't exist. So we can use that municipal funding flexibly to fund programs that are needed, but that there's maybe not a program to fund. So it's really allowed us to be innovative, to continue to sponsor different kinds of programs. From supporting New Americans, that was really 2021, 2020, 21, 22, kind of really the immigration, bringing people in and training them and training employers to bring in this new workforce, to the schools programs, to the work that I do for communities, supporting communities and local projects to build their capacity. It's really driven by that municipal funding year over year. So I just wanted to take you back to the beginning and remind you that Wilmington has been sort of one of the original. Wilmington, Dover, Bellows Falls, and Brattleboro were really how that all started. And it has allowed us to grow and to continue to expand our work. So if you have any questions about what we do, our work is regional. As many, if you look at the commuting patterns on almost every town in our region, it's 50-50 the people who leave town to drive to another town to work versus the people that come from another town in to work. So our economy doesn't stop at town lines. And so that's why our work is truly regional. If we support employers, people from Wilmington work all over. So they can work in Dover, they can work in Whitingham, they can work in Brattleboro. So by supporting all those businesses and employers, we're really kind of supporting the region's workforce and economy. So that's why we ask everyone, and we ask everyone at the same rate, which is $3 per person. So the
Questions? We have been in this program. This is our 13th year.
right. So
Believe
they're one of the
13th year, and
original.
We are one of the originals. Right. Oh, some of the stuff comes back for forever. But if no one else has any questions, gentlemen, any questions? Charlie or John?
No, I'm good.
Great program.
Okay. All right. So
Gretchen's got her hand up to talk.
Who has it?
Gretchen?
Gretchen, you have a question?
Well, I don't have a question, but I just kind of wanted to add a little bit about what the SEVIDS board focus is right now for this year. We are looking at, the thing that I really like about this is that we're problem solving and we're not working in these silos all the time. So one of the big things is about education and consolidation. What are we going to do with vacant buildings? And reuse. We're talking about land banks. And then also people are really changing how they work. They're working remotely more, especially with the increased availability of fiber. So those are the things that we're focusing on this particular year, as of other things that may arise.
All right. Folks, I'll do it again. I move that we approve the annual funding request from SEVIDS in the amount of $6,765 from the 1% local option tax fund. We have a second.
Second.
Oh, we have motion and a second to approve the funding to SEVIDS for 2025. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just, I have the original copy of that if you'd like. Okay.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. Thank you very much. This
John,
closes
keep
out
moving.
my municipal funding
Wind
year.
them down.
I move that we go into the sewer
Thank
commission.
you, Meg.
Do you want to get on the route? Actually.
John, how are you?
Good, and yourself?
Terrific.
No, I didn't.
A triplex multifamily building.
So
That's
this,
the first I've seen a triplex.
yeah, me too. So this was the lot on Fairview Ave, Ted Pond, Gary Henry. It's just past Bob Covey's. You guys approved preliminary approval for this lot first. They were gonna separate it to two lots, build two houses.
On the left or the right?
It's on the right, down over the bank towards the mover,
Okay, all right.
across from Lee Bartlett's old house.
All right.
Carter Reynolds. So they started the process of subdividing. They're gonna build two houses, two 3-bedroom houses. And then, so he paid his down payment, his 25% down payment of the allocation fee. And he has since sold it to another person. The new owner does not want to subdivide. He wants to keep it the same lot and he wants to build this triplex, 6-bedroom, multifamily house. So the gallons all stay the same. So it's changing the name to, it's Stay Mount Snow LLC.
What is it?
Stay Mount Snow LLC. The guy's name is Matt Juno. Like I say, they've already paid the 25% down. I think the easiest thing to do, so this is kind of a revision, but I would like to kind of start the process with him to grant him preliminary approval. Because he's changing it, he's gonna have to go through the whole permit process with the state. So I'm gonna ask for preliminary approval for 840 gallons.
So you gone through the DRB too?
Jessica's aware of it. He's
filed for it.
He's got to,
Okay.
I don't know where he is. She's aware of it and she has told him that he's gotta get some permits through her.
All right. Anyone have any questions? We're gonna have a triplex.
What's a triplex?
A 3-family or multifamily building.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't get that. It's like a townhouse.
Instead of a duplex, it's.
Instead of a
it's
duplex,
not-
it's a triplex.
It's not gonna be like the triple deckers that you used to, Charlie.
Well, maybe.
No.
Okay, he did want me to say, his goal is to make it not short-term rental, workforce housing.
Workforce housing.
That's
That's
what
even
his,
better.
that's what his goal is right now.
Okay.
That's what he told me.
All right. Absolutely thrilling. Okay. Anyone have any other questions? All right, somebody like to make a motion?
Move to approve the preliminary approval for a triplex multifamily building with 6 bedrooms. That's 840 gallons per day on Fairview Ave.
All right, do you have a second?
Second.
All right, motion to second to approve preliminary approval for a triplex multifamily building with 6 bedrooms at 840 gallons per day on Fairview Avenue. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Right.
Thank you, John. Stick these in front of me all the time. At least I get to go to jail, right? Yeah, I know he does.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, John. All right, I move that we come out of the sewer commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay, Scott, other business?
I have nothing other than executive session later on.
Okay, executive, I'm sorry, select board comments?
Negative.
Charlie, comments?
No, I got nothing.
So I just have a quick question. Are we responding to that email that everybody got?
What?
Are we gonna respond to the email that we got from Franzo title, whatever the person's name is? Peter Franzoni.
You mean the guy who was talking about he wants to get us involved in his politics?
Yes.
John, we're going to ignore them.
I'm okay. I'm just asking.
I certainly wasn't going to bring that up.
Okay.
I didn't get an email, so.
Actually, I didn't get an email.
Oh, you didn't get it?
No, only a couple of people got it.
Is
He
that
didn't.
in the packet?
Probably not.
Oh, we don't.
I can send you a copy of it.
Well, Tony, myself, Scott, Jessica, Therese, and
I get
Emma
one.
got it.
I get one.
Yeah, I'm not doing any of it.
And
Okay, good
he
enough.
wanted us to take a stand on the national level and do this, that, the other thing, and he sent it off to some other towns. Evidently, they have not responded either.
It was very
Stay
long.
out of it.
Yeah, it was very long.
We're trying to stay in our lane here. That's what
It's
we're
a
trying
very
to do.
long statement.
Yeah. Another keyboard warrior, okay? But hey, that's how things are. Things are a little bit different today. All right, so, John, you have anything other than that?
Nope, all good.
Okay. All right, hey, Tony, anything?
I got it.
Tony?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, how about you, Vince?
Nope.
Gee, that's quick. I don't have anything either. Scott? Yeah, I know. I know. Marshall's, I don't want to talk in front of him.
The town owns 130 Route 100 North. That is considered the old Sprague property. It's a little more than four acres there. It is out behind, what's the name of that?
Farmhouse Market.
Farmhouse Market. So it actually abuts Wheeler Farm.
Is it across the bridge?
No, it's on this side.
That's,
On
It's on
this
this
side of the
side.
bridge?
The other, yeah, across the bridge is,
Is that
the new owner is
small
called Fisher, huh?
Is that that small field that?
no, it's right behind the old plow.
So if you go
Oh,
down,
where is it?
down the driveway to the
Where the
left,
shop used to
Oh,
be.
okay, gotcha.
follows the
Bobby
river.
Ford had a bike shop. It was John Ford's one built.
But we own
Well,
own
behind that.
property behind the store also.
Okay.
And then it snakes the river for about, all told, it's about 4 acres.
Okay.
So we acquired, the town acquired the property through a FEMA buyout after Tropical Storm Irene. And one of the requirements is to maintain the property in a certain state perpetually, which basically means there's very little you can do on the property. Potentially, you could use it for recreation and basically a structure. The only thing you could build for a structure would be like a pavilion where the water could flow through freely. And I think you could put, my understanding is you could put some kind of a bathroom on the facility if you were to turn it into recreation. So it's very limited in terms of what we do there, because the idea is to keep it as a floodplain and perpetually. So I met with GMP's engineer, Nikki Howe, on April the 30th, along with Marshall. We walked the area where GMP would locate telephone poles. So the abutting property across the bridge is asking to put electricity onto his property. And the only way he can do it is to go through the property that the town owns. So Marshall and I walked the area with Nikki, and they've already identified where they would like to locate the telephone poles on this property. There's 2 poles. One would be close to Route 100, which is out of the floodplain, and the other would be like on the south side away from the driveway. The property goes up a little bit as you head towards the bridge, and then they would go across the water. GMP indicated that it was not a big deal to them that the area flooded. They have a lot of places where their poles get flooded and that sort of thing. However, so GMP is looking for an easement request on behalf of the landowner, Bruce Fisher from Tappan, New York, who owns the property across the way. I want to say there's a FISCHER. I want to say there's over 73 acres there, or something like that. And
I think it's like 100.
And so I'm in,
I think it's 100.
and so I'm in consultation with Vermont Emergency Management and FEMA. We go through Vermont Emergency Management to get to FEMA regarding this particular proposal. So we've sent them their initial plans, and I'm waiting for feedback on whether or not we can allow it. The easement, of course, is there's some things in the easement language that I'm having that I will have legal look at once I get any indication from Vermont Emergency Management and FEMA whether we can allow it, and what they would like to see included in the easement. Typically, they look for about 24 feet and they look for no development under their lines, that sort of thing. At any rate, it's out there. I will bring it back to you once I have everything in order. I'm just saying, I think this is fine publicly. Once we have the easement, we'll probably go into executive session to hash that part out. But BDCC in Twin Valley teams. This is the middle high school. Christy Beatty wanted to extend their sincere gratitude to those organizations, businesses, and government who were able to attend Fearless Futures Fair last Wednesday, April 30th in Whitingham. This is a job fair and important to the student body. Having witnessed positive impacts, the school has witnessed positive impacts on post-secondary success rates, which help lead to a thriving economy and better quality of life throughout our region. The town of Wilmington was represented by police, fire, zoning, and admin. Let me see here.
Did they invite you down, John? We did. Did you go down? You did.
Not this year. They a lot of times they highway and I think water has been and sewer, but anyhow, it's an opportunity to engage with students. Jessica went and represented the administrative side, and a lot of kids go through there.
Okay.
So, zoning was there. Jessica Roberts was there. She has like a stand-up board with different questions, and
Therese, did you go down?
she was engaging.
I could not this year.
She usually goes.
Okay. Well, seeing that they're looking for a town clerk down that side, have they found someone? Down way, okay. All right.
In terms of the fire department, they had a 1996 International Central States pumper fire truck that went on sale through Fire Tech. This is a marketing firm for fire, specifically for fire equipment and we have used this source before. The minimum acceptable bid for this 1996 gem was $40,000, and it would appear that we actually have a buyer. That was on May the 1st, so we're waiting to have that consummated. Where else am I here? The Planning Commission, they received a municipal planning grant. They put in Eric King and with assistance from WRC Matt Bachler, put in an application back in January. You established a resolution and adopted it on January the 21st, followed by the Planning Commission Chair, Matt Moore, and the Planning Commission. On April 30th, we were advised that we are actually receiving the grant in full. Matt Bachler has accepted it, and as soon as they send me the email that requires my signature, I will sign it. So they're well on their way. This is for the town plan. We've been consulting with Quantified Ventures. Ashley Lucht, who used to be with the bond bank. This is for sewer and water. They're offering through a state grant consultation with towns to help us with projects involving water and sewer. Christine Richter and I met with Ashley on March the 18th, and again with water and sewer and select board chair on April the 29th. Gretchen was there, Christine was there, myself, and with a focus on, the last conversation was a focus on Route 9 East Infrastructure Project, and we hope to engage her more down the line of meters and pricing. So we anticipate additional meetings. The process of establishing reserve funds is to estimate a 5 to 20-year life expectancy. This is a medium planning range that she is suggesting for asset replacement needs. And we talked about allocation fees, hookup fees, and early project connections on the Route 9 project versus post-project connections. And essentially, what we know is it's a good way to collaborate and have someone help us with some of our ideas, but it is more of an art than it is a science. So there's no perfect or one way to do anything. It's really a fully collaborative approach. And I don't know if John or Tom, you want to say anything or not?
No, I did sit through the meeting. I can say that. I can say that.
You did. After some discussion going back and forth with the Trails Committee, our finance officer, Christine Richter, will work with, do I have this right, John Elin?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. Very good.
Of the Trails Committee, setting up and administrating a new online donation app that they have researched and have persuaded us to try. And so we will try it. The name of the app is called DonorBox. It works in conjunction with PayPal, and I'm told it is a much easier way to get people to donate. So we'll establish, this will require us to establish a separate account to manage any donation funds for the trail project on the Hoot Toot and Whistle Trail reconstruction, which is something the select board has asked them to do in terms of trying to get more donations. We talked about transfer station recycling. And the last item I have is on the legal corner. 43 Stearns Way is the Elizabeth Lacombe Revocable Trust. A hearing took place in Superior Court in Newfane. The judge is Rachel Malone. This was done online, and that was on Wednesday, April the 30th, with the judge asking if there has been a resolution, and there has not been one at this time. We received a summons for 140 Elwell Heights Road. This is Ziggy Ziskowski. And so we received that summons on April the 28th, and that was referred to the town attorney. So I have an open session.
And there was some negotiation with Lacombe. We thought perhaps it was done, and it's a very narrow amount that they wouldn't buy it. But
you have a hand up.
The last one.
Jessica, you have your hand up?
Well, the last one you read, Zakowski from 140 Elwell Heights Road,
Yes.
was that grieving his evaluation?
I'm sorry. Yes, it's all based on the.
Okay, and he's still in court over it.
PCA. Yeah, we just received the summons. So you could tell the timeline is not necessarily.
Okay.
But the state hasn't looked at any of the ones that filed either, did they? Have they at this point? Okay, you would have heard first.
Her hand's down.
I lowered it.
Oh, wow, good for you. And now you have that power.
Okay, all right, folks, so I'm gonna go into executive session. All right? So unfortunately, everyone's gonna have to leave. Heartbreaker, heartbreaker. Okay.
Bye.
Good night, gentlemen.
Way to go, saving battery.
Thanks, Therese.
I'll take care of it once they do their motion.
Oh, no, we gotta keep that.
Can you get Jessica off?
Yeah, once you make the motions.
You're open. You're still open
Still
session.
open.
All right. I move the premature general public knowledge of an employment situation would clearly place the town at a substantial disadvantage. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. And number two, I move to enter into executive session under T1 VSA 313-813, discuss the employment and will include the town manager. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, Scott, I'm going to turn it over to you as soon as Jessica leaves.